Good morning. Okay, today I'm doing some work on myself. I am a big believer in self discovery and self-acceptance and self-love and self-worth. It's taken me so much time to build that within myself. Because you kind of have to make it like a practice. It's like watering a plant, and I've had major breakthroughs in my life with it, which I think is even how I'm able to show up the way I do on my social platforms or in the world. But there's like a big part that I still think is missing. And so I'm doing some work to figure out how to show up fully with my vulnerable side too. And I'm doing a workbook right now where I'm supposed to be writing down responses to certain questions. But something I've learned about myself is that when I'm writing, I won't get to, I think there's like a flow state that people get into when they journal, and they'll reach sort of a place where they stop thinking and they can really sort of talk to their inner self. And I get that way with talking. So I used to have a private podcast that I did a lot of my work in years back. And now I'm like, well, it would be fun to do it here if you guys are open to it. And you're more than welcome to answer some of these questions for yourself while I'm doing it. But this is part of my my promise that I've made to myself recently, because I think I'm seeing how I'm starting to take up more space in the world, and I'm starting to kind of be the person I always wanted to be. And with that comes like I've always wanted to help people and be vulnerable. And I think there's a part of me that's scared to be seen that way. So here I go through some of my exercises this morning. I'm going to talk through them, and hopefully I'm going to reach a place where I make some sort of discoveries. Okay, so one of the first question is, what specialness, gift, or potential do you secretly believe lives inside of you that you're too afraid to claim or step forward? Okay, so I think recently I've noticed, and I just might be writing notes for myself, that I think my gift is truly being vulnerable and being raw and telling my experiences and letting people learn from some of the lessons that I've learned. I think that I'm a visual learner, so a lot of times, this is a metaphor I have a lot that I used to tell myself, because if you've ever heard people say healing is instant, I was always like, what the heck? And the way that I see healing now is that whatever it is you're working on, you're in this room that's pitch black, and you're looking for the light switch. And sometimes you've been in that room so long, going up and down the walls, trying to find this light switch. But once you find it, the light goes on, and it's sort of like an instant understanding, instant seeing. So some of my past realizations, whether it with self-love, self-worth, self-trust, I was in that room for so long. And then when I finally got the light switch on, I think it does feel instant, but the amount of time in the room can feel like a very, very long time. Like, it might shock people to know, that my background is that as a comedian, and comedians tend to be very sad, depressed, kind of self-loathing people, and I was. At one point I think I'm going to show my story and my trajectory, but it wasn't like I've always been like this. This has been something that I had to kind of love myself through and give myself, I think, permission. I think that's a big part of it. is give myself permission to be how I wanted to be. So I think that my vulnerable, caring, loving side of myself, like I'm trying to figure out how to show up that way. And, you know, the way I dress is obviously because it's fun. And there's also a psychological element that, you know, it was permission for myself to be seen and to step out and to be noticed and to take up space and to feel joy and to be creative. And there was such a kind of powerful acceptance that had to happen. That was so cool because, I mean, radically, like, you could see it. I could see it, and my friends could see it. And soon the internet, you know, could see it. So I think my heart is what I want to start sharing more and, you know, inspiring people. I think that would be a dream. There she goes. I think also crying is one of my gifts. Because I told you that. I really do think I cry when I say something truthful. And it's kind of my body being like, yeah, that. So I think I have to figure out how to show up that way, that I can, you know, be the person I always wanted to see online. Because I think online can be a lot of times, you know, hard, and a place that we go, to be honest, when we're not feeling good and we're scrolling to escape. And I think I want, like, what an honor to meet people that way and to kind of, you know, help them get back to themselves. Okay, well, it's working. I really do always look at it as a good thing when I cry, like I've hit something. Okay, what qualities in others do you admire most or feel most activated by? I think I really am always impressed by vulnerability because I think it's just such a way to connect. And I think we're so scared to be vulnerable a lot of times. But then when we do, there's such a connection. I think connection is so beautiful. So people who are able to connect, people who are unapologetically themselves, people who can be in the moment, even if they're maybe at a pivotal moment in their life. What do you admire most? I definitely admire people who are joyful and creative, and loving. I think I admire that a lot in other people. What did you stop letting yourself want or pursue because it felt arrogant, dangerous, or not for you? What did you stop letting yourself pursue? I think I stopped podcasting, which it's funny because I kind of feel like this is it feels like a re-entry, even though it's different because it's video, but this is what I used to talk about a lot when I did podcasts. And I do still miss it. And I do think I need to figure out how to get back to it. And I think I let my ego get in the way, and I felt like my podcasts were failures. And so I thought, it would be best if I just stopped doing them. But maybe there's a way to bring that back, or I think even doing this right now, like, feels like that part of me I get to reconnect with, which is nice. I think acting I do miss, and performing. I just don't miss the world of it. And I think that's the hard part. I did not like auditioning, and I did not like sometimes the environments I was in, or it's very last minute a lot of times. I didn't really like that part of it. Maybe there's a part of it that's that I can re-explore, kind of have control over with my stuff. It's interesting. That's always been a battle with me, the performer part of me. Because what's so interesting is I remember when I was a kid, I was shy, and one time I went to a sleepaway camp and there was a talent show, and I was going to read a poem for the talent show. And when I got up there, I was so nervous I started crying, which is very me. And I wanted to run off and not do it. And then I remember the person running it was like, "You're going to do it." So I had to whisper the poem in the person's ear, and then they said it on the mic. It was pretty humiliating. But what was funny is afterwards, everyone was like, "Jessie, how are you going to do the play? We didn't know you had such stage fright." But I didn't have stage fright. Because if I was playing somebody else, I wasn't scared. It wasn't me. But when I was myself, it was so scary. And it's so interesting because now I feel the opposite. I love being myself. I love kind of, maybe because there was such a long part of my life where I was performing for other people, not just on stage, but in my life to be digestible, that I don't like performing, but I think I do. I just need to remember the joy and the fun of it. But I think that's where the complicated relationship comes from for me. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I definitely know what it is that I'm talking about, in the sense of, if you've had a mask on for a lot of your life, when you finally take the mask off, it's such a relief that anything that feels like putting a mask on, it's sort of scary and triggering, because you're like, no, we're not going back to that. So I think that's where it comes from. But I think putting a mask on for fun, you know what? I'm writing it down, and I'll see what that means for myself at some point. What were you punished or shamed for that might have actually been a gift? Or what came naturally to you as a child that you later learned to dim? I do think I'm reclaiming crying, because for a long time, it made a lot of people uncomfortable, my crying. And I didn't want to make people uncomfortable. And I also felt like it sometimes gave away my power, because it was sort of my body. I remember one time I had a job that I didn't like. But my boss called me into her office, and she was like, "Jessie, do you even like working here?" And so, of course, I started crying. And then she was like, that answered that. Because the thing is, I hated working there. My body was like, "Oh my God, get us out. You're not going to lie about it." But then when I, told people my life that happened, they're like, "Okay, that's not good. She's going to fire you. You need to go in there and say you really like your job so you don't lose your job." But it was, I lost my job. But ultimately that was such a gift, because I did hate it. So it's hard to kind of feel, I'm trying to reclaim crying, if you will. And I also think crying on the internet is very much frowned upon. So it's like, I try not to, but I'm like, the problem is if I start talking about more vulnerable topics, like, good luck to me. Good luck to me. I'm just very raw that way. So, yeah, I think that I need to make crying my superpower and not something I'm sort of embarrassed about or trying to hide. But that will be hard for me. That will be hard for me. Recently, I've done, a little more, but it is really hard for me. But it's okay. I do this a lot. It's so calming to do this if you've ever done that. It's a good little self-regulation tool. Okay, so I think crying is a main one. And I think honestly it's like my empathetic tendencies. Like anytime I get a nice message on Instagram, I do cry. I do. On YouTube, like if I read some of the comments, I cry. I'm a crier. And if something is really beautiful, like I can't help it. And a lot of times, like, I'm in a safe space that I can, even though I'll be like, oh, there's simply no way you could. But, so I think I just have to be okay with the fact that I'm a crier. Is that interesting? Is that interesting? Do people like, I don't know. Maybe I will do like a thing where it's me reading people, because I'm telling you, the things people write me, it's like, good luck not crying. I'm reading my greatest, hopes. That even like a video I put out helped somebody. That's a beautiful thing. Oof. Okay. Talking about crying sometimes makes me cry. That's another thing. Okay. What aspect of your authentic self are you most afraid of expressing, owning, or being seen as? I think I am afraid of being seen as sensitive as I am. I don't know why. It does scare me a little. However, like, I know that I'm sensitive, but I'm not, weak, which I don't know why I would even, I know that's not a comparison, but yeah, I think my OGs know how sensitive I am. Like, if you did listen to my podcast or if you've been with me for a while, like, I'd love to pour my heart out. But I've always done it in sort of a controlled or like a certain space. I haven't been like blasting that part of me. But I think it's my gift. So I think I have to get better at it. But I'm scared. Okay, so I'm scared. And I'm scared. So yeah, I think I need to be seen. Yeah. And I'm working on something right now that sort of talks about a lot of my mental health journey and the breakthroughs I've had and the struggles I've had. And I think I do this thing where I keep it safe in sort of a certain area that if people discover it, amazing. But if they don't, like, that's fine too. I'm scared. And I think I need to be more able to show myself that way. Because if I could help people with self-love and self-worth, which is, something that took me years and years and years to figure out. Like, that would be a beautiful gift. That would be a beautiful gift. Okay. I think that's good. Like, one day I want to be even like a speaker, someone who goes around and helps people see how, you know, they can love themselves and feel joy and dress joyfully and have that confidence. And like, I would love to help people with that. I really would. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, that was pretty much what I wanted to do today. I think ultimately what I am going to try to do is show up in that way too. So I'm not saying, like, I'm still funny, quirky, kooky, hot, all the things, and I love getting dressed, but I also think there's a reason behind it that I haven't necessarily, you know, talked about. And I'm going to be trying to step into that space, and I know I can do it. And let me know if this was helpful, if you like things like this. This is sometimes how I talk to myself, have conversations with myself to figure out what it is that I might be scared to do or shying away from. And then actively figuring out ways that I can push through that. So thank you for being here. I'm about to go to I'm going to go to a spin class, if you can believe it. She's trying to get back into moving her body in a fun way. So she's going to a spin class. I forget what the class is. I think it's early 2000s songs. I love a themed class. Anywho, love you. Let me know if this helps or if you want me to talk about anything else in particular. But have the best day. Bye.